My name is Tola, and I used to think my home was the safest place in the world. I was wrong. That night, the rain was so heavy it sounded like stones were hitting the roof. The wind was shouting, trees were bending, and the sky kept opening with bright flashes of lightning. And I was outside, bare feet, soaking wet, locked out of my own house. I banged on the front door with my fists. Boom, boom, boom. Open the door. I cried. Please, I'm getting cold. But inside, I could hear my husband's voice, calm and hard, like he was made of iron. You want to talk? He shouted from behind the door. You can talk to the rain tonight. My heart broke in that second. This was the man I married. The man I cooked for. The man I trusted. Lightning flashed again, and for a moment I saw my reflection in the window. My hair was lying flat on my face, water running down like tears. My dress was stuck to my skin. I looked like a stranger. I hit the door again. Please. I'm sorry if I did anything wrong. Just open the door. No answer. The cold started to bite my skin. My teeth were shaking. My hands were trembling. I looked up at the sky and whispered, God, why is this happening to me? Then I heard it. A car engine. It was slow and deep, not like my husband's car. Headlights cut through the rain, bright and white, moving toward our gate. For a second, I was scared. Who could be coming here at this time? The gate opened with a long, crying sound. The car drove in and stopped. Through the rain, I saw a small, round figure step out. A wrapper tied around her waist. A scarf on her head. My heart jumped. Grandma. I whispered. Yes. It was my grandma. My grandmother, Mama Beezy. She was the one who raised me when my parents died. The one who wiped my tears when I was small. The one who told me, never let anyone make you feel like nothing. Now she was standing there, under the rain with me, but she did not look weak. She did not look old. She stood strong, her eyes sharp, as if she was ready to fight the storm itself. What are you doing outside in this rain? She asked, her voice cutting through the thunder. I tried to talk, but my teeth were shaking. He locked me out, I said. Grandma, he locked me out. She looked at the door. Her jaw tightened. From inside the house, we heard the sound of the TV, loud, like nothing was wrong. Like I was not outside, freezing. Grandma's eyes were not soft anymore. They were fire. She stepped closer to me, held my face in her warm hands, and wiped the water from my cheeks. You are shaking, she said. How long have you been out here? I don't know, I answered. It feels like forever. She took a deep breath. Then she looked at the house again, from the roof to the windows, like she was studying it. And then, very slowly, she said something I did not expect. Good, she whispered. It's time. Time for what? I asked. She leaned close to my ear, and what she said next made my heart race. Destroy it. I pulled back, confused. What? Her eyes were serious. Destroy it, she repeated. Everything that is killing you inside this house. It is time to destroy it. In that moment, thunder roared again, and lightning lit up her face. She did not look like the soft, smiling grandma I knew. She looked like someone who had seen many battles. And won. Before I tell you what happened after my grandma told me to destroy it, listen to me, my friend watching this right now. If you are hearing my voice, it means you are part of my story now. Please, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what happens next. Click like if you want more strong and emotional stories like this. And tell me in the comments where you are watching from, your city, your country, so I will know I am not alone in this. Now, let me take you back to where everything started. Before that rainy night, before my husband's cold voice behind the locked door, things were not always like this. When I first met him, he was gentle. He smiled with his eyes, not just his mouth. He always said, Tola, I will protect you. You will never cry again. I believed him. Grandma was not happy at first. She watched him quietly, the way a cat watches a strange dog. One evening she pulled me aside and said, "Love is sweet, my child, but open your eyes. Sweet things can also hide poison." I laughed then. "Grandma, you worry too much," I said. She shook her head slowly. "And you trust too quickly." I did not know that one day, her words would ring in my ears like a warning bell. At the beginning, my husband brought me flowers, took me out to small places to eat, made jokes that made me laugh until my stomach hurt. He called me his queen. But little by little, things began to change. First, it was small. He would get angry if I did not answer his calls quickly. He would ask, "Who were you talking to?" Even when it was just my friend. Then, he started checking my phone. Then raising his voice. Then throwing things when he was angry. Each time he said, "I'm sorry, I just love you too much." And each time, I believed him. But the house grew colder. Not the walls. Not the floor. The feeling. It felt like I was walking on eggshells. One wrong word, one wrong look, and boom, his anger would explode. I stopped inviting people over. I stopped laughing loudly. I stopped talking freely. When Grandma visited, he was always extra nice. He smiled, helped her carry her bag, spoke softly. But the moment she left, his face would change. One afternoon, when Grandma was packing her things after staying with us for a week, she pulled me to a corner again. "Are you happy here?" she asked, looking into my eyes. "Yes, Grandma," I said quickly. "Of course." She watched my face for a long moment, like she was reading a book. "Your smile is different," she said softly. "It looks like a mask." Those words stayed in my heart. Still, I stayed. I told myself, marriage is not easy. I must endure. It's normal. He loves me. Until that night. The night of the rain. The night my husband locked me outside. The night my grandma arrived and said, "Destroy it." I stood there, shivering, looking at her. "Grandma, destroy what?" I asked, my voice weak. "The house. The marriage. What are you talking about?" Before she could answer, we heard a loud sound from inside the house. Crash. Glass breaking. Grandma and I turned toward the window at the same time. Through the wet glass, we saw a shadow move inside the living room. My husband. He was standing in the middle of the room, holding something in his hand. Something I loved. Something he knew meant everything to me. And in that moment, as his hand lifted and swung down again, I realized what he was about to destroy. And that was when my grandma suddenly grabbed my arm and shouted, "Don't move. Don't move." Grandma shouted, her fingers tight around my arm. Inside the house, the sound came again. Crash. Something shattered onto the floor. My heart jumped into my throat. "That's my photo frame," I whispered. "The one with my parents." He knew. He knew that photo was all I had left of them. Grandma's face went hard. "This man is not angry," she said quietly. "He is cruel." I tried to run to the door, but she pulled me back. "No," she said. "If you go in now, he will finish breaking you, not just the things inside." The rain kept falling. It felt like needles on my skin. My dress was heavy with water. My legs felt weak, but my chest felt like it would burst. Inside, my husband's voice rose. "So you want to embarrass me?" he shouted, even though the door was locked. "You want to bring outsiders into my home?" I shouted back. "I just wanted help. You locked me outside." He laughed. A short, dry laugh. "You deserve it." Those words hurt more than the rain. Grandma stepped forward. She knocked on the door, once, hard. Bam. "Open this door," she said calmly. There was silence. Then my husband spoke again. "This is between me and my wife. Old woman, go back to where you came from." I gasped. No one talked to my grandma like that. Grandma smiled. But it was not a happy smile. "You think this house is yours?" she asked, loud enough for him to hear. "You think power comes from locking doors?" She stepped back and looked up at the roof, the walls, the windows. "This house was built with lies," she said. "And lies always fall." I didn't understand her words, but they made my skin prickle. She turned to me. "My child, listen to me carefully," she said. "Tonight, you will stop begging." "But Grandma." "Enough," she said gently but firmly. "You begged your parents' death not to happen. You begged poverty to leave you. You begged love to stay. Look where begging brought you." Her words went deep into my heart. Inside the house, something else broke. This time, it sounded heavier. I cried out, "Stop! Please stop!" The door suddenly unlocked. Click. My heart froze. The door opened halfway. Light from inside spilled onto the wet ground. My husband stood there, tall, angry, his eyes red. "So," he said slowly, "you brought backup?" He looked at Grandma from head to toe and laughed again. "What are you going to do? Curse me?" Grandma didn't answer. She just looked into his eyes. For a moment, nobody spoke. Even the rain seemed quieter. Then Grandma said something that shocked me. "You will open this door fully," she said. "And you will let her inside." My husband's smile disappeared. "And if I don't?" Grandma stepped closer. "Then tonight will change your life." He laughed again, but this time I saw fear hiding behind it. "You don't scare me." "Good," Grandma replied. "Because what is coming does not need your fear. It only needs truth." He hesitated. Then, slowly, he opened the door wider. "Go in," he said to me. "Let's finish this." I took one step forward. Then Grandma held my hand. "No," she said. "Not like that." She looked into my eyes. "You will go in standing tall. And you will not talk. Let him talk." I nodded, though my knees were shaking. We stepped inside. The living room looked like a war had passed through it. Broken glass on the floor. My photo frame shattered. The picture torn in half. Tears rushed to my eyes. My husband followed my gaze and smiled. "Oops," he said. "Accident." Something snapped inside me. Before I could speak, Grandma did. "You break pictures because you are afraid of memories," she said. "You break things because you cannot control people." He raised his voice. "This is my house." Grandma pointed at the walls. "This house hears everything," she said. "Your shouting. Your lies. Your cruelty." Then she turned to me. "Tell me," she said softly, "is this the first time?" I opened my mouth. I wanted to lie. I wanted to protect him. But the words came out by themselves. "No," I whispered. The room went silent. Grandma nodded. "I knew." My husband stepped forward. "Why are you saying this?" he snapped at me. "You want to turn her against me?" Grandma answered for me. "She doesn't need to turn anyone against you," she said. "You are doing that all by yourself." He walked toward me. Too close. His shadow fell over me. "You are my wife," he said slowly. "Don't forget that." Grandma moved between us. "And she is my granddaughter," she said. "Don't forget that either." For a second, I thought he would push her. My heart stopped. But instead, he laughed again and stepped back. "You both think you can scare me," he said. "This ends tonight." He walked toward the bedroom. "Wait here," he said over his shoulder. I whispered to Grandma. "What is he doing?" She watched him go, her face calm but her eyes sharp. "He is going to bring out what he thinks gives him power," she said. My heart began to pound. From the bedroom, I heard drawers opening. Things being moved. Then he came back. In his hand, he held a brown envelope. My name was written on it. "You see this?" he said, waving it. This is the reason you behave yourself in this house. I stared at the envelope. I had never seen it before. What is that? I asked. He smiled slowly. Your life, he said. Grandma took one step forward. And my answer? She asked. He looked at her and smirked. Simple, he said. I will destroy her before she destroys me. He began to open the envelope. The room felt like it stopped breathing. My husband's fingers slid inside the brown envelope. Slow. Careful. Like he wanted us to suffer before we saw what was inside. I felt dizzy. My ears were ringing. Please, I whispered. What is that? He didn't look at me. He pulled out the first paper and lifted it in the air. You see this, he said. This is proof. Proof of what? I asked. Proof that you are nothing without me, he replied. Grandma stepped closer, her back straight, her voice calm. Paper does not decide a human's value, she said. Only a weak man needs lies to feel strong. He laughed loudly. Lies? These are facts. He threw the paper onto the table. I leaned forward and saw it. It was a printed email. My name was on it. My picture was attached. My heart dropped. That's fake, I said quickly. I've never seen this before. Oh, you've seen enough, he replied. Enough to know what happens if this reaches certain hands. Another paper came out of the envelope. Then another. Each one felt heavier than the last. Messages. Screenshots. Cropped photos taken from strange angles. My head shook from side to side. These are not real. You know they're not real. He smiled. Real enough. I turned to Grandma, tears in my eyes. Grandma, I didn't do anything wrong. She nodded. I know. But if people see this, my voice broke. They won't, Grandma said. My husband slammed his hand on the table. Don't be so sure, he yelled. All it takes is one click. The sound echoed in the room. Grandma didn't even flinch. You prepared all this because you are afraid she will leave, she said. He froze. Just for a second. Then he scoffed. She can't leave. Grandma tilted her head. Or else what? He pointed at the papers. Or else the world sees her as a shame. The words dug into me. Shame. The thing I had spent my whole life running from. Grandma looked at the papers, then at him. Is that all? She asked. He frowned. What do you mean? She turned to me. My child, she said softly. Do you remember what I told you when you were small? I sniffed. You said, no storm lasts forever. She smiled. And that truth always comes back, I said quietly. She nodded. Then she looked at my husband. You see, she said, you are standing on paper. And paper burns. His smile faded. What are you talking about? She reached into her bag. My heart skipped. Slowly, she pulled out her phone. And now, she said, we trade stories. He laughed, but it was forced. You think your old phone scares me? She tapped the screen. This phone has been watching you for a long time. The room went cold. I stared at her. Grandma. She looked at me. When I first stayed in this house, she said, I noticed things. My husband took a step back. Stop talking. You drank too much, Grandma continued. You talked too loudly on the phone. You forgot that old women also hear. His voice shook. I said stop. She ignored him. You bragged, she said, about controlling your wife. About making sure she had nowhere to go. My chest hurt. Grandma's thumb hovered over the screen. There are recordings, she said. Your voice. Your plans. I gasped. You recorded him? Yes, she replied. To protect you. My husband's face twisted. That's illegal. She smiled slightly. So is locking a human being outside in the rain. Silence slammed into the room. He looked at the door, then at the window, then back at us. You think you've won, he said quietly. No, Grandma replied. I think you've exposed yourself. He grabbed the envelope again. His hands were shaking now. You take one more step, he said to me, and I will release everything. I felt fear grab my legs. I couldn't move. Grandma stepped in front of me again. You already lost, she said. He screamed. Shut up. Then, in one fast movement, he tore the papers in half. Once. Twice. Again and again. Paper flew into the air like dirty snow. For a second, I felt relief. But then he laughed. You think that was the only copy, he said. My heart sank. Grandma's eyes narrowed. Where? She asked. He pointed toward the hallway, toward the small study room. The computer, he said. The real power. He started walking toward it. Grandma grabbed my hand. Do not panic, she whispered. This is where the house decides its side. The lights suddenly flickered. Once. Twice. Then the power went out. The room fell into darkness. And from the hallway, I heard his voice again, laughing. The darkness swallowed everything. No light. No sound from the TV. Only the rain outside and our breathing inside the house. My heart was beating so loud I thought my husband could hear it from the hallway. Grandma, I whispered. I can't see. I know, she replied softly. But he can't see clearly either. From the hallway, his laughter echoed again. You see, he said. Even the house agrees with me. Thunder roared outside, shaking the windows. A flash of lightning pushed white light through the curtains for 1 second. In that 1 second, I saw him standing near the study door, smiling. Then darkness again. Stay where you are, Grandma whispered. And listen. I held her hand tight. It felt warm and strong, like when I was a child crossing a busy road. I heard footsteps. Slow. Careful. He was moving back toward us. You should have stayed quiet, he said. Now things will get worse. Fear crawled up my back. Grandma spoke calmly. Why are you coming closer if you already won? He stopped walking. Silence. Then he answered. To enjoy it. My stomach twisted. The lightning flashed again. This time, I saw something else. The brown envelope was no longer in his hand. Instead, he was holding his phone. Recording, Grandma, he mocked. Smile. You're famous. He lifted the phone toward us. That's enough, Grandma said firmly. He laughed. What will you do? Curse my battery too. Another flash of lightning. Grandma had moved. Before I could understand what happened, she was standing closer to him. Give me the phone, she said. He stepped back. Don't touch me. She didn't. She just spoke. You forgot something, she said. And what is that? He snapped. The truth, she answered. Suddenly, the power came back on. The lights blinked. The living room filled with light again. I blinked fast, my eyes burning. My husband flinched. His phone screen went dark. No. No, he shouted, pressing buttons. My battery was full. Grandma looked at me. Did you see? She asked. See what? I whispered. The storm chose its moment, she said. He ran toward the study. No, I cried. But before he reached the door, the electricity went off again. This time, there was a loud pop. Then smoke. The smell of something burning filled the air. The computer, he screamed. My computer. He rushed into the study room. Don't go there, Grandma shouted. Too late. Another sound. Crack. He screamed in pain. The kind of scream that makes your blood turn cold. I covered my mouth. Grandma. She pulled me back. Stay. Smoke poured out of the study door. Sparks followed. The storm outside grew louder, like it was angry. My husband stumbled out of the study, holding his arm. His face was white. "My files," he whispered. "Everything, gone." He dropped to his knees. For the first time that night, I saw fear take over him completely. Grandma walked closer, slow and steady. "You built your power on darkness," she said. "Darkness eats its own." He looked up at her, shaking. "You planned this," he whispered. She shook her head. "No," she said. "I warned you." He turned to me, panic in his eyes. "Tola," he begged. "Tell her to stop. Please." The sound of my name from his mouth felt strange. I opened my lips, but no words came out. Grandma looked at me. "This is the moment," she said gently. "Your voice is stronger than his fear." I swallowed hard. Before I could speak, we heard sirens. Faint at first, then closer. Blue and red lights flashed through the windows, cutting through the rain. My husband's eyes widened in terror. "Police," he whispered. "You called the police?" Grandma reached into her bag again. "No," she said. She pulled out another phone. "This," she continued calmly, "is from the people who truly own the next steps." The doorbell rang. Loud. Sharp. My heart nearly stopped. Grandma turned to me and said softly, "Whatever happens next, do not lie." The doorbell rang again, louder this time, like it was demanding the truth. My husband scrambled to his feet. "No," he whispered. "No, no, no." He looked around the living room like a trapped animal. Broken glass. Burnt smell. Torn papers on the floor. There was nowhere to hide. "Open the door," Grandma said calmly. He shook his head. "You did this. You planned everything." Thunder answered him from the sky. The knocking replaced the doorbell now. Bam! 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 "Police! Open the door." Those words sucked the air out of the room. My legs felt weak. I had never seen police enter my home before. I felt ashamed, scared, and strange all at once. My husband turned to me, his eyes begging. "Please," he said softly. "If you love me even a little, tell them it was a misunderstanding." My chest tightened. Grandma touched my back. "Remember," she whispered, "do not lie." The knocking came again. Stronger. "We will break this door if you don't open it." My husband laughed suddenly. A broken laugh. "See," he said to me. "This is what you wanted. You wanted to destroy me." I shook my head slowly. "I just wanted to be safe," I replied. That was the first time I said it out loud. Something in his face changed. He walked to the door and opened it. Cold air rushed inside. Rainwater flowed across the floor. 2 police officers stood there, wet from the storm. Behind them, blue lights painted the walls. "What's going on here?" one officer asked. My husband spoke fast. "It's nothing, officer. Family argument." The power went out. Grandma stepped forward. "An adult woman was locked outside in heavy rain," she said clearly. "Against her will." The officer turned to me. "Is that true, ma'am?" My throat closed. This was the moment. I looked at my husband. Then at Grandma. "Yes," I said. My voice shook, but the words stood strong. "It's true." The room went very quiet. The second officer looked around and frowned. "What's that smell?" "Burnt wires," Grandma answered. "From the study room." The officers exchanged looks. "Sir," one of them said to my husband, "we need to take a look around." My husband's face fell. "You can't just walk into my house." The officer raised an eyebrow. "We can when there's danger." They walked past him into the living room. One of them bent to examine the broken frame and papers on the floor. "Ma'am," the first officer said to me, "were you threatened?" I felt my hands shake. I remembered the envelope, the lies, the rain. Yes, I whispered. My husband shouted. She's lying. Grandma raised her phone. I have recordings, she said. And messages. The officer nodded. We'll need to hear them. My husband stepped back slowly. No, no. Suddenly, he turned and ran toward the back door. Stop, an officer shouted. He slipped on the wet floor and fell hard. The sound made me flinch. In seconds, the officers were on him. Sir, don't resist. Handcuffs clicked shut. I stood frozen, watching the man I married lying on the floor. This is your fault, he spat at me. You ruined everything. Tears filled my eyes. No, I said softly. You did. As they pulled him up, one officer asked, Ma'am, do you feel safe staying here tonight? I looked around the house. The walls felt like they were closing in. Grandma answered for me. She will not stay here, she said. The officer nodded. Then you'll need to come with us to give a statement. I grabbed my small bag. Grandma wrapped a dry shawl around my shoulders. As we stepped outside, the rain had slowed. But the sky was still angry. The door of the police car opened. Just as I was about to get in, my husband leaned toward me, his voice low and sharp. You think this is over? He whispered. You don't know what else I hid. My blood ran cold. Grandma squeezed my hand. Get in the car, she said. I did. As the door shut, I realized something terrifying. The envelope he showed us earlier was not with the police. The police car door closed with a heavy thud. That sound felt final. But my heart told me nothing was over yet. Rain slid down the windows as the car moved. Blue lights flashed on wet roads. I hugged the shawl Grandma wrapped around me, but I was still shaking, this time, not from the cold. What did he mean? I whispered. When he said he hid something. Grandma stared straight ahead. A man who controls with fear never puts all his weapons in one place. That answer scared me more than silence. At the police station, everything felt strange and slow. Bright lights. Hard chairs. People talking softly but firmly. An officer asked questions while another typed. Tell us exactly what happened, the officer said. I tried. I told them about the rain. The locked door. The breaking glass. The envelope. When I mentioned the envelope, the officer stopped typing. What envelope? My stomach tightened. A brown one, I said. With my name on it. He said it was my life. The officer looked at Grandma, then back at me. Did we recover it from the house? Grandma shook her head slowly. No, the officer said quietly. We didn't. My heart dropped. Grandma leaned closer to me. Listen to me, she said softly. Breathe. But what if? He wanted you afraid, she said. Fear is loud, but truth is stronger. Before I could reply, another officer walked in holding a phone. So wants to talk, he said, nodding toward the hallway. My breath caught. Him. Yes, the officer replied. I don't want to, I said quickly. You don't have to, Grandma said firmly. The officer hesitated. He's insisting. Says it's urgent. Grandma looked at me. This is your choice, she said. Whatever you choose, stand by it. I swallowed. I'll listen, I said. But only listen. They took us to a small room. My husband sat on the other side of a glass wall, handcuffed, his face calm in a way that scared me. When the phone was passed to me, my hand trembled. He smiled when he saw me. You look tired, he said. What do you want? I asked. To help you, he replied smoothly. Because if I fall, I won't fall alone. My heart began to race. What does that mean? You really think that envelope was the only copy, he said quietly. I looked at Grandma through the glass. She was watching him like a hawk. You sent it to someone, I whispered. His smile grew. Someone who doesn't like police stations, he said. Someone who likes money. My throat went dry. If anything happens to me, he continued, those files go public. That's blackmail, I said. He shrugged. Call it insurance. I felt sick. Why are you doing this? Because, he said, leaning closer to the glass, I still own the ending of this story. I slammed the phone down. Outside the room, I broke into tears. Grandma held me tight. They won't believe me, I cried. People will see lies and think they're truth. Grandma lifted my face gently. Listen, she said. Have you ever asked yourself why he was so sure? I sniffed. Sure of what? That his lies would work, she replied. Confidence like that comes from help. My heart skipped. Help from who? Before she could answer, an officer hurried toward us. Ma'am, he said urgently, we just received a call. A call from where? Grandma asked. The officer looked uneasy. From your workplace, he said. They received an email, with your name on it. My legs almost gave out. The officer continued. And they're asking if you can explain what they just saw. My phone buzzed in my hand. Unknown number. One message appeared on the screen. Check your email. I opened it. And gasped. My hands shook as I opened the email. There it was. My name in bold letters. My picture. Headlines that made my chest tighten. Employee under investigation. My vision blurred. This is not true, I whispered. Around me, the police station felt suddenly too loud. Phones ringing. Doors opening. Footsteps everywhere. Grandma took the phone from my hand and read quietly. Her face did not change, but I felt her grip tighten. They used the ugliest lie first, she said. An officer leaned closer. Ma'am, your office called again. They want to place you on temporary leave until this is sorted out. Temporary leave. Just words. But they cut deep. I sank into the chair. He's winning, I whispered. Grandma knelt in front of me so we were eye to eye. No, she said gently. This is the noise before truth speaks. Before I could answer, another message came in. Then another. And another. Old friends. Co-workers. People asking questions. And people judging quietly. My chest felt tight. I struggled to breathe. From behind the glass, I saw him watching me. Smiling. The officer noticed my stare. Do you recognize that man? He asked. Yes, I said through tears. My husband. He's asking to make another statement, the officer said carefully. About you. My heart pounded. What kind of statement? The officer hesitated. He claims you were planning to frame him, he said. That the recordings are edited. I laughed suddenly. Not because it was funny, but because it hurt too much. He's lying, I said. Grandma stood up slowly. And now, she said, we answer with light. She reached into her bag again. This time, she pulled out a small flash drive. I gave this to someone yesterday, she said. Someone who believes in patience. I stared at her. What's on it? Everything, she replied. Dates. Full recordings. His voice without cuts. Before relief could reach my heart, the officer's radio crackled. Attention, a voice said. Suspect is becoming aggressive. I turned just in time to see my husband shouting behind the glass. His face red. His hands shaking in the cuffs. This isn't over, he yelled. You hear me? I still control the ending. Officers rushed toward him. At the same moment, Grandma's phone rang. She looked at the screen, and her expression changed. It's the person with the flash drive, she said quietly. She answered the call. Put it on speaker. A voice came through, tense and fast. Ma'am, the voice said, we tried to upload the files. My heart stopped. And? Grandma asked. There's a problem, the voice continued. Someone already sent another version first. My knees went weak. A version of what? I whispered. The voice replied. A story that makes him look like the victim. At that exact moment, my phone buzzed again. A new alert flashed across the screen. Breaking news. I looked up at Grandma, my breath trapped in my chest. Outside, thunder roared once more. And I realized the storm was not done yet. The breaking news alert shook in my hands. I opened it slowly, like someone walking into fire. There he was. My husband. On the screen, he looked calm, sad, injured. The headline read like a knife in my chest. Man claims false accusation by wife and relative. I felt the room spin. They believe him, I whispered. They believe him over me. Behind the glass, he smiled. Not loud, not proud, just sure. Grandma took my phone and turned it off. Enough, she said softly. She stood up straight. For the first time that night, her voice rose, clear and strong. When a liar controls the noise, she said, truth must control the timing. The officer stepped closer. Ma'am, he said gently, we need to prepare you. This may take time. Grandma nodded. We are ready, she replied. She turned to me. My child, she said, holding my hands. Do you remember what I told you outside the house? I swallowed. You said, destroy it. She nodded once. Yes. But not with anger. She looked straight at the officers. Play the full recordings, she said. From the beginning. No edits. The officers exchanged looks. One nodded. Seconds later, the room filled with sound. His voice. Clear. Proud. Talking about locking me outside. Laughing about controlling my fear. Bragging about ruining my name if I ever left. The smile on his face vanished. Turn it off, he shouted, slamming against the glass. That's edited. That's not real. But it was too late. The officer's phone rang. Then another. Then another. News stations. My workplace. People calling back. The same screen that showed him as a victim now changed. New evidence released. Recordings contradict earlier claims. I covered my mouth as tears fell. Not of fear this time, but relief. The officer turned to me. Ma'am, he said, you are cleared. Behind the glass, my husband collapsed into the chair. Quiet. Broken. He looked at me one last time. No power. No control. Grandma leaned close to me and whispered, now it is destroyed. Not the house. Not the walls. The lie. We walked out into the early morning light. The rain had stopped. The sky was slowly opening. For the first time in a long time, I could breathe. If this story touched you, please like this video so more people can hear it. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more powerful, emotional stories like this. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? Your voice matters here. Sometimes, the strongest words are not loud. They are just true.